Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Rooster Stone Show.
Yo.
Ba-da! Yo, Mo
We're
and
back.
Mo, back on the show.
back.
Dude, here it is, man. It's nice to have you
Dynamic
back,
duo.
dude.
Thanks for having me,
Dynamic Duo.
Oh, man.
Dude,
That's a
it's right
shirt.
there.
That's
Yeah,
a
right
shirt.
now, dude. It's got like
That's a
R2
shirt,
grubby
two
faces on it. Yeah, I love it. Dude, see, we're like the same person. Hey, we're so happy that you're here. We're going to do another What Are You Listening To today. Kevin and I are just going to shoot out some songs that we like, that we're spinning, that are in our, sort of a collection of stuff going on, what we're listening to in the car, at home, in the headphones, whatever. So don't forget to go and, get on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Let us know what you're listening to. People are starting to do that more and more, and we really appreciate it. Gives us stuff to listen to. And that's really the whole point of the show. So without further ado, man, let's get at it. Give us your first song.
First song.
What you got?
Way back. Genesis, 1974. Lamb Lies Down on Broadway album, The Chamber of 32 Doors. I love this song. Gabriel's voice in this song is incredible. I love how this song starts off totally different. It just slides into something completely different. Like in the first minute of the song.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you where I was when I first heard this album. It's funny how when I listen to things, it takes me right back to, I remember the first time I heard this.
I'm exactly the same way.
Eddie Chestnut's house, 1976. In his bedroom, he puts on Lamb Lies Down on Broadway for the first time. And I was like, whoa!
Dude.
And I went and bought the album. And this song is my favorite song on the whole album. His voice in this song is just, not haunting, but what would you say? What do you think?
It's Peter Gabriel, man.
It's Gabriel.
He's so inimitable that how do you even describe what he's doing? Yeah, he's theatrical.
Oh, crap.
He's got, that's okay, man. They're slipping off. He's got this charisma and quality to his voice that is so utterly unique.
Yeah.
And it's very theatrical.
And I'll tell you, what I really like about him is he can make the darkest song sound so sweet. Like with the sax, and there's a song called "Home Sweet Home." I don't know if you ever heard it, but listen to that song, "Home Sweet Home." It's the most darkest song you ever heard, but he makes it sound so sweet.
Yeah,
and it's like, wow,
dude.
Yeah, I love Gabriel. I love his theatrics. I'm actually going to go see there's a band called the Musical Box, and they actually have the patent and the license from Peter Gabriel and the band to do that show, to do the show.
Wow, that's awesome.
He actually has the license of all the costumes.
Wow.
He has they're coming October 10th to the Keswick Theater.
Wow.
This will be the third time I saw them.
Yeah.
It's the real deal. They all wear the same exact clothing that's on that album.
Yeah.
That Genesis gave them.
Dude, how do you get that gig?
Dude, these guys are fantastic. He comes out in all of the costumes. The old man.
And how's he do Gabriel? Does he do all right?
He actually has the strip of no hair down the middle of his head, like old Gabriel.
Dude, that's so Gabriel.
Yeah, dude. I love that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah. That's attention to detail too. This band with Gabriel. I mean, because let's be honest, dude,
different.
Genesis was good without Gabriel. It was a totally different experience.
Different band.
But dude, Genesis with Gabriel, dude, it's just
so deep.
Yeah, he's so deep, and he kept that going. And they kind of went more of the pop direction. It was still good. It was still good. Because look, make no mistake about it, dude. Phil is a great singer. It's just different. It's just different.
A great drummer.
Yeah,
I always say there's Genesis post.
Yeah.
Post Collins.
If you look at them, I do
Collins.
that. I do the same thing with Van Halen, dude. If you look at them as two totally different bands, you can enjoy them both.
Yeah.
And that's what I do with Genesis. I do the same thing as I do with Van Hagar and Van Halen.
Yeah.
I cut them.
This band that's coming to the Keswick is actually doing the 1973 live album.
Nice.
From front to start.
That's great.
I can't wait because that is in my top 5
Yeah.
albums.
And you're a live album guy.
I'm a live album guy. And for that album, the 1973 album there's a little story on the back of this album cover. Yeah. If you have it, read it. I did a book report on that.
That's awesome.
And the teacher called my dad to come and said, like, is there something wrong with your kid? Mm-hmm. Because the story on this, that's where I learned what plagiarism was, too. I was in 7th grade.
Right. And he's like, this is awfully well written for a 7th grade kid.
And I wrote this thing about this little short story on the back of this album cover because it's one of the first albums I ever bought.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, what did you write, man? I got to go in and talk to the teacher.
Dude.
I freaked him out.
Yeah, you're trying to do something you love. Dude, great choice. Excellent song. You know, I really enjoyed listening to this one. I hadn't heard it in a long time.
I love it.
And so it was like really cool to hear it again, but excellent choice. So for my first song, I chose a song called I Remember When by a band called The Coral from their self-titled album in 2001.
Amazing.
Dude, I saw these guys.
Never heard of them.
Dude, yeah. When they opened for Supergrass the year this album came out. It was 2001. And anybody that knows me knows Supergrass is like one of my absolute favorite bands of all time. But dude, they were just kids. They were teenagers, Kevin. They were like 19 years old.
The Coral?
Yeah. Like they had to have permission from their parents to go tour the States with Supergrass.
I never heard of this.
Yeah.
And when you put this out yesterday and I put my headphones on, I was like,
dude,
blown away.
Dude, deep dive this band. They're so good. But dude, they have this sort of like shanty song sound. It's hard to explain. Their singer, James Skelly, tell me if this connects with you. He reminds me of Eric Burdon.
Exactly.
From the Animals.
Before I saw what you wrote,
yep.
When it first came on, I'm like, this sounds like an Animal song, dude.
Yeah.
And then it turns into something completely different, which turns into something completely different.
And dude, if you listen to the album, I mean, I'm like struggling to choose a song off this album.
Turn on.
It is so great. So, dude, just the power and ferocity of his vocal delivery. But the music,
it's incredible.
End of it is so tight. Honestly, they were one of the best live bands I've ever seen. And that is saying something. Dude, they're teenagers, right? And I've seen a lot of great bands. Dude, they were the opener. And they're like blowing me away.
I never heard of them. They
were so good that, in fact, that I bought this album that day. I bought this album. That's how good it was. And I have bought every album since. They are so good.
And you have down here this album was in 2001. This sounds like it could be back in 1972, 71. At least this song.
I agree. It has that.
It gave me a Doors vibe in the very beginning. Yeah. And then went into an Irish friggin' punk song.
Dude.
That went into this other genre of music.
It's very British invasion.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I'm glad I knew you would dig this song.
Never heard of it. I'm like, okay, let me check this out. Put my headphones on, sat back, and I was like,
dude, check them out. Check them out. The Coral. Check them out. All right, they're so good.
They are.
So what do you got for song number 2?
Number 2, Robin Trower just came out with a new album.
Dude.
80 years old. I got to say something. Robin Trower is the epitome to me of blues music, man. No shredding. All these new bands that are coming out, they call themselves a blues band, and they're out there shredding. That's, to me, is not a blues guitar player, man. You want to hear a blues guitar player? Put on Robin Trower.
Yeah.
Young kids. Eddie Van Halen's not a blues guitar player. I'm sorry. He's great.
Yeah.
But he's not a blues guitar player.
No,
I don't need shredding in my blues soup. I don't need it. And this album that he just put out, my God, it is fantastic for 80 years old.
He's winding.
Coming to the Keswick Theater in 3 weeks.
I'm telling you, dude, Keswick Theater needs to put you on the payroll, dude. You're doing a great job.
3 weeks.
Dude,
Robin Trower to the Keswick.
What, man? This song is so groovy and sultry. Sultry is the only word I can think of. And you know what?
That man's vocals on this.
You're right about blues guitar playing. I had somebody or I read this somewhere, or somebody told me this sometime, and it really resonated with me. They said a great blues guitar player is better because of the notes he doesn't play.
Exactly.
And you know what, man? Whenever I think about that, and it's probably some famous person said it, and you know, if you're out there and you know who it is, let me know because it's driving me nuts. But dude, I love Robin Trower.
Me too.
I mean, my favorite song of all time is a Procol Harum tune. So, like, dude, I'm like that is by far my favorite song of all time. It has never changed since I was little. And this dude can play, y'all. I mean, it's hard to imagine that the guy playing guitar on that song will end up being Robin Trower.
How about it?
But dude, this guy can play. Oh my God. Even at 80 years old, this is an awesome song.
It's an awesome song, and it's an awesome album.
Yeah.
The whole album is fantastic. This song just jumped out at me because of you got one go around, dude. That's what he's talking about. Yeah, you got one go around, man. Yeah. Enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and that it hit home.
Give it an extra kick, man.
Yeah. Try a little harder, man. You got one go around.
I love it. I love it. There's enough time for sleep in the grave, baby.
Yeah, you got it, baby.
So for my second song, I chose the song Fat Man from Jethro Tull. Their 1969 stand-up album.
Fantastic.
When I was in college, I was friends with these two brothers, Phil and Seth Cohen. And these righteous dudes got me listening to Jethro Tull. I mean, I had obviously heard the hits before that, but they got me really listening.
Benefit, stand up.
Yeah, dude. And I was always partial to the earliest recordings because I'm a blues guy. And, you know, their first two albums are super bluesy, particularly their first album.
Fantastic.
You can hear stand up starts to show the cards a little bit about what they will become.
More minstrel-y. You hear that minstrel in it.
Yeah. But, dude, this is far and away my favorite album by JT. I saw them in concert in 1966, and they played 1996. Excuse me.
Say,
you're like,
smokes,
wow,
dude.
You saw those guys 8 years before you were born. Dude, no, I saw them in 1996. Dude, they played 5 songs from this album.
Is that right?
I swear, Ian Anderson knew I was in the audience. He had to have. Because, I mean, I've lost myself, dude. That's half the album.
Yep.
Right? And I was so into it. But, dude, this band, like, if you've never super dived into Jethro Tull.
Get off the Aqualung album.
Dude, and Aqualung is a great album. You know, but
Go
really,
earlier.
Dude, there is so much more to this band than Locomotive Breath and Aqualung. And, you know, they have an extensive catalog of music. It's like 30 plus albums. It is a ton. All right, and it's all good.
Is unbelievable.
Yeah, dude, it's it's interesting. The hardest choice I had on this entire list today was picking the song from this album I wanted to feature.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. Every track is nostalgic and glorious.
I don't want to be a fat man.
Yeah, dude, this is easily
well, and you know what?
Top 15 album.
Stand Up and Benefit could be a double album. Just like Revolver and Rubber Soul could have been a double album. Stand Up and Benefit could have been a double album.
It was it's a moment in time.
I think them albums are less than a year apart too.
Yeah. Well, back then, dude, they're pumping them out.
They were pumping them out.
They're trying to.
I saw Tull 76, the War Child album. He was touring the War Child album, and it's funny because as a kid, I remember always seeing that silhouette of him. Yeah. Standing on one foot with the long. Yeah. And I used to have this bathroom, man, when I was like 13 years old. And I would stand
in there. Dude, you know what? It makes me mad we don't have like photo evidence of that. I want to see 13-year-old Mo chilling in his bathroom making the JT.
Yeah, my red plaid. I still remember my red plaid friggin'
I love it.
Standing on one foot.
I love it.
Playing Jethro Tull.
You got to do Jethro Tull. You got to do more with Jethro Tull than just Aqualung and Locomotive Breath. Just, dude, you can thank me later. So what do you got for your third song?
Third one, Used to Be a Cop by the Drive-By Truckers on the album Go-Go Boots, which was released in 2011.
Yeah.
This song, just that whole groove of this song, it really doesn't change. That bass line.
Yeah, it's going through.
I just love, and I love Patterson's voice on this song.
Yeah.
Dude, his voice on this just grabs you. And what he's talking about, it's a little, I don't know, I wouldn't say menacing, but it's like a loser, you know, trying to
Yeah.
You know?
Make right.
Right.
Yeah.
A loser just trying to find his way through, you know, got a divorce. He got kicked off the force, you know, and he's just trying to find his way. And it, again, resonates with me. Always trying to find my way. But I love this song. I saw these guys at the Chameleon Club.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, you know, the bass guitar and the guitar drone, that like drone.
It sucks you in.
Dude, it's such a nighttime drive-in tune.
It is.
Like, it really is. And
It
dude, you're right, dude.
is.
Patterson Hood's voice, it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
I love this song. And dude, the story here is what's the best part of this song.
Yes.
The story, the narrative
I used
story.
to like to party until I coughed up half a lung.
Yeah. Like,
We
and
can
the
all
way,
relate.
dude, and it, you know, and it's so like, it's so simple and so simply delivered, but it does. It resonates with people.
And you know what? It is
a great
a
song.
very simple song.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing, there's no guitar work to it, there's no drum. It's just the same thing all the way through with a really cool story.
It's because it's about the story.
Yeah,
you know,
really
sometimes
cool
you don't
story.
want to overly muck up a good story with
Simple
a lot
to
of
me
stuff.
is better.
Yeah.
Simple to me is
Well,
better.
it depends.
I'd say back to the Robert Trower.
Yeah.
The blues to me. Simple's better for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
It depends because again, you also have a Peter Gabriel Genesis song on this list too. So it's not always simple as best.
Right.
You know,
Correct.
It's mood though. You know, we have
You're
these
right, it's
moods
mood.
that we go through.
Well, people say, what's your top 5 albums? Well, that'll change every week you ask me.
Exactly. Some
It
of them
depends on
won't
what
change.
my mood. Well, there's 2 that always will
I
remain.
know with you. Yeah.
There's 2 that always will remain.
We reviewed one of them. Go back
Yes,
and
we
check
did.
it out. I think that was episode 8 or something like that.
And
Yeah.
There's 2 that will always remain in my top 5, but that'll change upon my mood, upon the day.
I think it's time to review the second one. We're gonna have to do that, and that's gonna happen this
Let's
summer.
do it.
That's gonna happen this summer.
All right, Mo,
dude,
what do you
excellent
got?
choice. Excellent choice. So, for my last song, and I can't believe we're at the last song already, but
I know.
I picked Jack Straw, Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead.
Europe '72. You know, a long while back. I guess at this point it's decades. Which is crazy to think because it feels like yesterday. My dear friend Paul Ewing made me a mixtape of his favorite Dead tunes. You know, I hadn't gotten into the Dead just because it always felt like this, like once you go down that road, you're like lost for a while, right? You know, with all the Dick's picks and all the stuff like that. And you can even hear more stuff now. But I wanted him to hook me up with some like, you know, seminal stuff. And this song was on the mixtape that he made for me. And since that moment, it has always been my favorite song by the band.
Yeah, I like it.
Something about the chord structure and the energy, the dual vocals. Of Jerry and Bobby, the narrative storyline lyrics. Again, we come back to that again. Jerry's intense, meandering solos. It feels like music should feel, like an old friend.
Yeah.
You know, and a rare thing these days, but if you ever catch me in the cups, this song will peek around a corner at some point. I enjoy the Dead so much that I must have loved them just as much in my last life.
Wow.
R.E.P. Phil and Pigpen and Jerry. And you know what? I'm going to give out some notable favorite versions of this song. You know, with the Dead, you have to do that, right?
Right.
I mean, I put the original version on simply because, you know, that's the original version. But some of my favorite live versions are Veneta, Oregon, August 27th, 1972, and Barton Hall, Cornell University, May 8th, 1977. So if you really, you know, are a Dead person, although if you're really a Dead person, you probably have your own favorites.
Right.
But you know, if you want to check those out too to kind of compare, the Dead's so cool to do that with because there's so much there.
I got to admit, I was never a Dead person growing up. Mm-hmm. And I missed out because I'm listening to them a lot more, say, in the last 10 years than I ever have. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I totally... Now, I did go to see them because you did have to have that experience.
Sure.
To go to a Dead show.
Yeah.
And I am experienced. I saw the Dead. But never really dove into them.
Yeah.
They weren't like a band that we would play at one of our parties or anything. But now, it's totally different. And I'll tell you who turned me on, who made that change was Dan Jameson.
Wow.
Yeah, working with him with the festival and hearing the Dead music and I was like, yeah, I got to get into this a little bit more. And I did. And I missed out as a kid on the day.
Dude, 100 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. You know, I'm so angry at myself. And if I've told this story before, I apologize, but you're going to hear it again. I had the chance to see the Dead at the Vet the year Jerry died, right?
Wow.
And, you know, for some reason, I just had to work that extra shift at the Olive Garden. Bro, Jerry was dead 2 weeks later. And when people ask me if I have regrets in this life, I always say only one. And there it is, dude. I had a chance to see the Grateful Dead, and I picked up a serving shift at the Olive Garden instead. Dude, that right there changed my life, though, because after that, I stopped doing that. You know,
screw them breadsticks.
Go to the Vet and see Jerry.
You know, and go see live music anytime you get an opportunity.
Don't worry about that shift. Work is always going to be there. Money is just paper. It's always going to be there.
Still working.
Go see the show. So, dude, speaking of the show, here we are. Thank you so much. We have got our lists together here. This is the songs that we got going on this week. So check them out. 6 tunes. I will post the Spotify list so you can check it out. But you know, we really appreciate if you've lasted the whole way through. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to Rooster Stone across all social media stuff. Don't forget to
support local music,
support live local music, and don't forget about peace.
Yes, be nice to each other
and one love. Come on over to roosterstone.com, where you can book the band for any event you can imagine. Acoustic, full band, whatever your event may require. You can also email us to take online music lessons at an affordable monthly price. Don't forget to download our original music and like, follow, and subscribe to Rooster Stone across all social media platforms. Keep rocking out at roosterstone.com.